Hi, this is Megan, and I have a quick update to our All Access project for this week. When I was putting together, trying to finalize my layout that I put together during the Zoom crop, or that I started during the Zoom crop, I was running into some issues getting my photos to work. So I made some adjustments and I really like the results. So I wanted to share it as kind of an alternative, a different variation on that technique where we cut those windows and folded back the flap to give us a kind of a different matting effect or little pockets that you can tuck those photos into. So this is the layout that I ended up with. And as just a quick reminder, this is the technique that we use in what I call the 6x12 folded windows. So you can see here I showed you kind of a 4th of July red, white, and blue theme concept with some different circle shapes and the 4x6s in there. I use this same technique, but instead of doing opposite corners that I showed how to do in the Zoom, here is the sample that I show you where we cut opposite corners. We're going to actually change this and we're going to cut same side corners. And we're going to do it on a 12x12 sheet. So here you can see opposite corners gives us the technique that is shown in the handout. But this time we're going to use a 12x12 and we're going to cut all 4 corners. And that is going to allow us to to fold those flaps inside. I cut a 12x12. I sliced that in half after I made all of my inside cuts. And then I put it down, folding those flaps back, and just gave a really nice kind of centerpiece item here. Did a quick grid layout on the outside photos, worked with my particular photos. So I'm going to show you this technique to do this middle, and I'm going to show you how to do it really quick using the binder clip method. So we'll get those binder clips in place so they'll lock in where we're making our cuts, and it makes it super quick. So I have a piece of 12x12 paper, double-sided. I like how it looks. This is a non-directional paper. I don't have to worry about how it's going to flap. I am going to probably keep this mint color with the little golden triangles up, and I'll be folding up the sunshine golden flaps. So here I have my trimmer. I'm going to go ahead and turn it to the side so that I can work horizontally with it. I can see my ruler right here. And the first thing I need to do is I'm going to line up my paper at 1/2 inch. We're going to be making what I call those 1/2 inch inner or inside cut. So I've lined it up at 1/2 inch here on the trimmer. Fold this down. Now what I need to do is I need to line up for my cuts. So my right side edge, I'm going to start cutting at 1/2 inch. So I'm going to come over here, and I cannot use a binder clip on this side. So I just have to know where that 1/2 inch mark is. Once I get my blade housing over, I don't have room here to put a binder clip, but I can put a binder clip over on the left side. So I need to make sure I'm cutting from 1/2 inch, and my cut needs to stop at 5.5 inches. So if you're not using the binder clip, this is what you need to do. You need to cut from just 1/2 inch over to 5.5 inches. It's a 5-inch cut, but I'm going to use the binder clip. So I'm going to put my binder clip at 6.5 inches. It's usually about 1 inch beyond where you want to cut. So if I want to cut at 5.5, which is where my white mark on my blade housing is, I can see the edge of my blade housing comes to 6.5 inches. I can actually just hold my blade housing in place and slide that binder clip right on there. So I'm going to be cutting from 1/2 inch over to 5.5 inches. My binder clip is going to stop my cut. So now all I have to do is go ahead and start cutting. I'm going to double check how I'm lined up, and I'm going to come over here to 1/2 inch. I'm going to press down and slide over to where I meet my binder clip. Now all I need to do is I just pick up and rotate 90 degrees. Line it back up at that 1/2 inch mark. I'm coming back here to 1/2 inch and pushing to the left until I meet my binder clip. And I just keep doing that all the way around. Just keep lining it up at that 1/2 inch. And now you can see I have made 4 cuts all the way around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my paper over. And I'm going to repeat this process using the same measurements. My binder clip stays in place. And I just keep rotating 90 degrees. And what I'm doing is I'm completing those cuts. You can see here, I've got a flap completely ready to fold. So 2 more cuts and I will be all set with making these inside cuts. And there you can see, I've got all those inside cuts made. So now what I can do is if I want, I can either leave this as a 12 by 12 layout and fold my papers in, or for this case, what I did is I went ahead and I trimmed it down. I cut it in half to 6 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna line this up at 6 inches and I'm gonna cut it in half. Now this didn't matter for me which direction things are going. Like I said, I'm working with a non-directional paper. So you might need to pay attention to how your things are gonna fold before you make your cut. So just double check that you like how the things fold. If my pattern had been going this direction, I would need to rotate everything 90 degrees so that I was making sure that my pattern was going straight up. I like how I am. I'm gonna cut this in half. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to go ahead and make those folds. So I'm gonna use my 13 by 13 mat. I'm gonna grab my ruler. I'm gonna line this up at 6. I'm gonna line this up on the left-hand side. And actually for this particular one, I need to line it up on the right-hand side because I'm gonna be using this 45-degree angle to double check that I've got a nice crisp measurement because my folds come up on that direction. And what I'm gonna do here is go ahead and put my ruler down at 5.5 inches. So I'm coming up 5.5 inches from the bottom, putting my ruler in place, making sure my paper's lined up. And then I'm gonna bring my fold up, or my flap, my paper moved a little bit. I'm gonna bring my paper up and I'm going to use my ruler as my stop. It's set to 5.5 inches. And then I can bring that fold into place and I follow that 45-degree angle down. Now I'll do the same. I'll go ahead and flip this around. And this won't quite follow my 45-degree angle, but that's okay. I'm really confident as long as I use this ruler and this 5.5 inch marking here. If I just keep my ruler at that 5.5 inches and use that as my guide, I'm gonna get that nice crisp 45-degree angle fold. And I can visually check, you know, I'm lining up with the previous. So there we go. You can see I've got that nice edge going. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I repeat with the other side. So you can line this up. If you're using the ruler, you can line it up however you like. For some reason, I always just default to this left edge. Probably because it allows me to hold the ruler down with my left hand while I fold up with my right hand. And one more fold. And then I'll have the basics of the layout ready to go. This folded windows. So there you can see, I now have this all set to go to add to a layout. I can change things up if I need to. I have, you know, the pattern, the paper I have, it doesn't matter as much. I can move things around. Instead of being on the inside of a layout, I could put them on the outside edges, and you can imagine the paper here in the middle. So that just gives you an idea of how this technique would work if you wanted to do this same center panel technique that I used for this layout. I'll post a picture of the layout in the All Access group, and I'll go ahead and post a couple of photos too that just give you those measurements again, and you'll have the video to watch to make sure that you know how to do it. So if you have any questions, post them. I'd love to see if you guys give this version a chance. I'm loving seeing what I love what you're posting, showing off the other ones, the different variations, lots of ideas that can be done with this. So like I said, just post your examples, post your questions. I'm always happy to help. Thanks.